One of the most challenging things in my life has been fears and worries. I had a lot of them when I was young, and it restricted me in many ways. Took away a lot of joy, a lot of happiness. And I was so ashamed of it, I even didn't want to share it with others. So it was something that was inside of me, and I had to deal with it in my own way. I wish I had known some ways in those days to talk with people about it or do something about it, but I didn't. I thought I was the only one. That's why I was so ashamed. And it took a while to understand that fears and worries are far more common. And now I'm working with people. I've learned that everyone to various degree has them. And if it's so common, and if it is really limited our abilities and our joy and happiness and our love and abundance in our lives, the big question came up: why are we not doing something more about it? Why are so many people choosing to continue to live with it? And I realized that there are several reasons. Of course, there are a lot of personal reasons as well, but there are a couple of common ones. And one of them is shame. The one that I had, I didn't talk about it because I was ashamed. And a lot of people do not really want to admit to what degrees fears and worries are influencing their lives. It's also something that, at least when I was young, I was not actually allowed to have them. You have to overcome them, or don't be this or don't be that. So we learn not to share and to live with it as if it's something that is normal. Well, it's not. But we have made it normal. We have made it so normal that we see it all over in our society. And we have learned to accept that that is the way we live. So we also accept that we have less joy and less happiness. And the problem is that the more we are in the same way of thinking and acting and feeling, we make it only worse. So there are other reasons. One of them is that because our neural pathways are automatically going there, so we keep repeating it because there are patterns in our system. All of that makes it challenging to break through. And the main thing is that we often don't know how to do it. That's a question that I often hear from people. How am I doing this? How am I supposed to do this? It is training. It's very normal for us to train when we want to learn a sport. We train and we train and we train. And as soon as it comes about changes in our lives, in our lifestyle, in our way of thinking, and our way of feeling, then suddenly we want a quick fix. And suddenly it's not normal to train for long periods of time, and we have to. So that brings us to two things, or maybe even three. The first is we need to admit that we have it, because if we don't admit, we can't change it. Second thing is we have to make a clear decision that we want to change it. If your intent is not strong enough, it will not work. It's the same as a sport. You start something and then you give up on it because you don't want to really put all the time and the efforts in. It's the same here. And then finally, when we are training for a sport, we have a program. There are different programs. There are teachers and trainers. We also need a program if we want to get rid of our fears and our worries. And there are ways to do that. And we are unique, so we all have to find where we resonate with, and what is the most optimal resonance that we feel with something that we want to use. But the course that we have developed, the online course, has helped a lot of people and is showing us that, at least for most people, it is a very good training program. So if you're up for the challenge, you're very serious, you want to change it, my suggestion is check out our course. The information will follow after I stopped talking. So ask yourself, are you ready for the challenge? Do you really want to create a life with more joy and more happiness, literally more fun to live, more abundance, and especially more love? Check it out and see whether this can be the beginning of a change of quality in your life. I wish you success in making for you the right decision.